Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The Green Bay Area Public School District is on deadline to spend the rest of $70 million in federal dollars by the end of September.
Esser funds were distributed to schools across the country by Congress to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on schools. Now, these funds were used by districts to fill in gaps during a time when the biennial budget did not increase funding to school districts for some 2 years. This money was used to buy PPE and cover the cost of substitute teachers who were often used to fill in for teachers who were out sick. Funds covered several programs, including contact tracing, mental health initiatives, software updates, virtual learning, and free full-day summer school for the past 3 years.
The materials, the workbooks, the software, the textbooks sometimes in some cases, and then also all of the professional development that we have to provide our teachers to be equipped to teach the new curriculum. So Esser funds really help the district, get all of those, all of those curriculum adoptions done in a short period of time. Whereas if we didn't have those additional funds, we would have never been able to do that in a 2-year time frame.
The district telling us they work diligently to try to cover as many one-time costs to not create a fiscal cliff once those funds run out.